quello ha chiamato io. Ready? Ready.
There's so clearly a David and Goliath dynamic here, Jim, that you wonder if somehow Chris Byrd can't get the crowd on his side, if he can befuddle and frustrate his opponent as he's wont to do.
Vitali Klitschko cuts such an imposing and dramatic figure in there that as he stood in the ring across from Byrd during those introductions, I looked at the eyes of the media people, the judges, the photographers, and others at ringside, and virtually nobody looked at Byrd, Larry. All eyes are drawn to Klitschko because of the figure he cuts. Now, Ibeabuchi in the early rounds, while losing those rounds to Byrd, got to Byrd's body. Klitschko doesn't throw a lot of body punches, or at least hasn't done so in his previous 27 fights. So one question in my mind is, will he go there, or will he stick with his head hunting, firing the jab, trying to come with the right hand, and perhaps get himself into trouble missing Byrd?
Well, the other thing Ibeabuchi did after a few rounds is he started to try to beat on Byrd anywhere in his body, on his arms, his shoulders, and so on.
You see Klitschko here, going with the jab, not really firing it. He wants to set up the right hand, and he gets Byrd with the right hand, pins him in the corner, and already Byrd begins to feel the power. That's how he got in trouble against Ibeabuchi. Byrd said to us, I must stay off the ropes. I will stay off the ropes this time.
It's clear that Byrd is already seeing that how easy it is to neutralize the jab with his, since he's a southpaw.
A lot of conventional fighters have trouble landing jabs against southpaws. Double the problem if you're facing somebody who is as elusive and has the kind of head movement that Byrd has. Refereeing the fight is Gino Rodriguez of the United States, one of the 3 of 4 American officials mentioned by Larry Merchant. So round 1 becomes a bit of a game of cat and mouse as Klitschko tries to set up a right hand, and Byrd gets a look at him and tries to stay away from the ropes and in the center of the ring. Now Byrd begins his own offensive assault, moving forward for the first time in the bout. When he fought Herbie Hyde in London last summer, Klitschko took a round to size Hyde up and then attacked early in the second round. He's been much more active here against Byrd than he was in that fight against Hyde. The size differential as they get into the corner like that, Larry, is almost frightening.
It looks as though Byrd is trying to chop down a sequoia with a penknife.
And as we go to the Klitschko corner, where they speak German, our translator is Cornelius Winter.
Okay, that was a good round. You are controlling. Don't let him come too much. Go sideways. Do provoke a bit, but not too much. Use your left. Use your left. Use it more. Use your long left. That should work out.
German is one of the 4 languages Klitschko speaks, incidentally. He also speaks Ukrainian, Russian, and English.
You gonna spit again?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. In the corner, Klitschko trying to hit anything that moves or stands still. As you can see, there's a part of him that sort of clanks a little bit. He's not a fluid athlete, but he's awfully big and strong.
He will occasionally come underneath with the right hand. Normally, he likes to bring it over the top. His left hook usually travels wide of the target, but it can be effective nevertheless. Byrd wants to jab with the right hand, of course, and then try to land that straight left, particularly as he gets along in rounds. Byrd's feeling was, if he can get into the second half of the fight, Klitschko may tire. And it is a hot night in this arena, Larry. Box numbers in round number 1. Klitschko 11 out of 45, Byrd 6 out of 24.
Klitschko is not, that right hand looked like it hurt Byrd. Apparently it didn't.
Klitschko going to the body, and there's the answer to that question. He will attempt to get to Byrd's ribcage here. Not having been much of a body puncher in the past, but of course, with 20 knockouts in the first 2 rounds, he hasn't often needed to go to that strategy. Nothing mysterious about what Klitschko tries to do. Right hand to the body, Byrd blocking it with the elbow below the ribs. Klitschko trying to set up the right with the left hand, and Byrd constantly catching the left with his own right hand. Catch, catch, catch. Klitschko misses twice. Only the second time in his 28-fight professional career that Klitschko has had to face a southpaw. However, he had 210 amateur fights and then a 5- or 6-year career as a kickboxing champion. So facing different styles is not something he regards as a big problem.
And only in kickboxing has he ever been knocked out by a foot. Maybe the foot was had some brass toes on it.
Many accomplished fighters will come to the fighter meeting with us and claim that they've never been knocked down. Then later, upon research, we'll discover that that isn't entirely the case. Klitschko was totally honest. He said, yes, I got knocked out in a kickboxing fight. I got kicked in the head. I went down and I was out. Getting to Byrd's body as round 2 ends. Saw Chris Byrd as he came back to the corner, turned to us and say he missed.
Get this out. Warm up.
Chris in his corner with his dad, Joe Byrd, and his mother, Rose.
Get his Smith bucket over here, Rose. He gonna try to push you when he get in close in a way he can. So you make sure don't lay on them ropes.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
A big man can fall on you and can hurt you on the ropes, okay?
Use your left-right combination. Punch deeper. Now he's coming. You have to move backward. Punch deeper.
Optimal.
That was quite excellent. Go on like that.
Sorry, man.
You got a great close look at Vitali's brother, Wladimir Klitschko, leaning into the shot there as we sat in Klitschko's corner. Wladimir, a heavyweight, you'll see a highlight of him later on tonight with a record of 32-1. Round 3 begins with the pattern which has dominated both of the first 2 rounds. Klitschko pawing with the left hand, Byrd catching it in mid-path with the right. Byrd was openly confident about his chance to take advantage of this big opportunity. Now he finds himself pinned in the corner again. Klitschko tries to go to work with the right. Right hand trying to punch through the guard. Byrd comes back with a left to the body. Against some of his opponents, Klitschko's been able to use his overwhelming strength simply to drive punches through the guard. Byrd will try to use his elusiveness to obviate that.
You know, you get the feeling, Jim, that Byrd is trying to get Klitschko to punch more, throw more leather, tire himself out. But Klitschko is fighting a pretty disciplined, well-paced fight. He hasn't gone wild. The body looks to be the only place that Byrd can reach so far.
elusiveness of Chris Byrd as a heavyweight, adopting positions and body angles in the ring that you just won't see from anybody else in the division.
But it's not enough to make a man miss. You've got to make him pay when he misses. You've got to be less than a safety first and safety second fighter.
Now Byrd's best punch of the fight, a right hand that lands flush to Klitschko's chin. Byrd has knocked out bigger men after first frustrating them and exhausting them and perhaps breaking down their will. Jimmy Thunder in Connecticut, the classic case in point, and now Byrd mounting more offense in round 3 than has been the case up to this point. Klitschko not yet as aggressive at this stage of the fight as Ibeabuchi was able to be in Tacoma. Once again, Ibeabuchi, the better, more accomplished body puncher. Quickly now, let's look ahead to some upcoming sports programs here on HBO.
For boxing, mark these dates on your calendar. April 15, when Fernando Vargas defends his junior middleweight crown against Ike Quartey. May 6th for the premiere of KO Nation, a new boxing series unlike anything you've ever seen before. And then on May 13th, Roy Jones, boxing's best pound-for-pound fighter, defends his light heavyweight titles. Also featured, middleweight champion Bernard Hopkins taking on Brian Barbosa. HBO, the heart and soul of boxing. Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel premieres on April 10th. Among the stories featured, Tom Osborne for Congress, a look at Nebraska's legendary and former head football coach as we follow him on the campaign trail for Nebraska's upcoming primary. And then on April 17th, Sports of the 20th Century presents Bill Russell, My Life, My Way, a documentary which explores the life, philosophies, and principles of one of the most compelling figures ever to play the game of basketball.
Byrd says he likes to make a big man look stupid. It gives him a rush.
And
so far, he hasn't had the rush.
As round 4 begins, CompuBox numbers getting slightly more encouraging for Byrd, who landed 6 out of 17 power punches in the last round, 6 out of 22 for Klitschko. Harold Wladimir, how'd you score through the first 3?
Okay, Jim, I got it 30-27, 3-0, Vitali Klitschko. He's landed the biggest shots and winning the rounds, but in round 3, Chris Byrd started to show a little offense, you know, really taking it to Klitschko, maybe getting him a little bit frustrated. But Jim, I'll tell you something, this advertising outside the ring is really bothering Chris Byrd. Every time he goes to the ropes, his shoe hits that advertising. It's very typical in Europe, and they really should get rid of it.
At the end of the last round, Chris Byrd's brother Patrick looked over at me and said things are going okay. So apparently the Byrd family feeling is that the plan has a chance of working out. There's Klitschko trying to fire the right hand right up through the guard, and Byrd tries to retaliate immediately with the left.
Come up, good.
If Klitschko occasionally looks awkward against Chris Byrd, the expectation is that most heavyweights would. Byrd said, after I lost to Ibeabuchi, I thought lots of guys would want to fight me. It didn't turn out to be the case. He even went so far as to buy an advertisement in the Las Vegas Review-Journal during the week of the Lewis Holyfield match in Las Vegas last fall, asking for quality opponents to fight him. The only response, Jorge Luis Gonzalez. Not what he was looking for.
He is a master of escapology. But can you beat a guy in his hometown that way?
Second right hand landed flush for Klitschko. But he's having to try to aim those right hands instead of really unleashing them. Now there's another right hand. Byrd takes it pretty well.
Yeah, I was surprised how well he took that punch because that was a clean right hand.
Klitschko lands one to the body. Byrd's chin holding up pretty well. Klitschko landing 2 more clean punches, a right and a left. Byrd looping over the top, and Klitschko coming up underneath with the right hand. accomplished part of the plan clearly for Byrd. He's got to be offensive enough. He's got to attack enough to keep Klitschko from just setting his feet and firing away.
He's still in a little bit. You know, when you get in there, you got to run off series of punches. Okay?
Yeah, he's leaning that way. Tip him off.
Yeah, but you got to figure him out.
You got to figure him out.
You got to figure him out. You got to get in a series of punches there. Don't let him tie you up.
Just spit, just spit. No, give me water to spit.
Okay, now listen. Listen here. You stand a little too much in front of him.
Okay.
Take him in a circle. Then get his feet crossed up. You got to take him in a circle.
Good right hand right there. Byrd seemed to handle it pretty well.
Let's go. Check it out. Let's go, let's go.
But in round 4, Byrd threw just 28 punches by CompuBox numbers. He's only averaging 25 per round. He's going to have to step up the punch output, or at least to expect so, if he's going to win enough rounds in the second half of the fight to have a chance to take home a victory. Byrd believes that with a victory here tonight, he can gain back what he lost in the Abeabuchi fight last year. As for Klitschko, who might not have proven much with a knockout of the well-worn Razor Ruddock, a victory over Byrd would open a lot of eyes in the States.
Although you never look good against Byrd, win or lose. This is not a sterling performance unless he ends it with a knockout. You can't say that Vitali Klitschko looks like some unbeatable monster.
No, indeed, if he has to scrape his way to a 12-round decision here, as many of us thought was the likely case once Byrd became the opponent, then that'll diminish Klitschko. The 27 knockout streak will go away. Hard left hand by Byrd.
Now there, Byrd did what he's supposed to do. He made him miss, and he made him pay.
Heard Byrd's dad telling him, you've got to move in a circle and you've got to figure him out. Translation, you got to throw more punches. And now Byrd is doing it. Double left hand, and the second one landed well. And there are a fair number of Byrd rooters in the crowd. He said to us in the meeting yesterday, after a while I'll win the crowd over. Well, of course, David's always going to have some rooters against Goliath.
We also have to remember, Jim, that Russians or former Russians are not the favorite people of Berliners.
Of course, Klitschko might say Russians aren't the favorite people of Ukrainians either.
Well, I was in a cab the other day with a lady cab driver, and she said she thought Klitschko was an arrogant Russian.
Good left hand by Byrd as once again he makes Klitschko miss and then fires back. Best round yet for Chris Byrd. Whether that means the fight is changing in his direction remains to be seen. But a Byrd rally punctuates the round, and he raises his arms to generate more crowd support as he goes back to his corner.
Here we see how Byrd uses that escapology, but he doesn't always come out of it punching. He fights big men like the middleweight he once was. And on this occasion, he does come back after a miss.
2 degrees. Hold that. Okay, now let's keep him busy. Keep him backing up. He can't punch going back with power.
Right. He's trying to lead. He's trying to lead with that right hand. Let's go. Check us out. Let's go, Chris. Let's go.
You may have heard Chris Byrd's father say he can't fight backing up. And Byrd said back to him, you try to land that right hand going backward. So he knows it. Can he stay on the attack, be effective, and not get hit by a big punch?
Meanwhile, in Klitschko's corner, his German trainer, Fitz Spooner, asked him to use more combinations and just to try to land punches, not to try to land with such overwhelming force. Spooner apparently believing that Klitschko is trying to hit the home run when maybe a single or a double will do.
Well, Jim, it's like going up against a knuckleball pitcher. You want to hit the ball into the bleachers every time, and that's why big sluggers strike out on those kinds of pitches.
And almost here, George Foreman saying, just land the punch. Just make contact. Don't put everything you have into it. That's what Klitschko's trainer was asking him to do. It's a good thing for Vitali that he's as fluent in languages as he is, because while Spooner, his trainer, speaks to him in German, his brother Wladimir simultaneously speaks to him in Russian. Round 6 of what is becoming an interesting heavyweight fight in Berlin, Germany, between the towering Vitali Klitschko and the bouncy, elusive, obstreperous Chris Byrd. Here's an example of what Seduna asked for. Just land the punch.
He's made a good adjustment to what happened to him in the last round.
Chris Byrd's protected cup is loosening in the back. May or may not become a distraction for him, but it could cause a delay at some point.
Look it up. Let's go. Get back, get back, get back, get back, get back.
Chris Byrd landed half his punches in the 5th round. In the 6th round, as Larry pointed out, Klitschko making a good adjustment and regaining his momentum in the fight. But it looks like this one just might go the distance. And that would change Klitschko's bargaining power and his market position in the heavyweight division. We are in Berlin tonight with a look at Potsdamer Platz. During the 20s, the busiest crossroads in all of Europe. Today, one of the most active building areas in the world in this city, festooned with cranes and huge construction machinery. There's as much new building going on here as probably anywhere else in the world, as Berlin becomes an entirely different place than has been the case before in the 20th century.
Okay?
Your punches are too low. Be careful. Look what Byrd is doing. Okay, good punches. Keep it calm. Keep it easy. Is that hurting? Okay. Keep a distance. Provoke him. Let him come.
Okay?
And then answer with a good combination.
Yep, you're right.
Let's go, second round.
Let's go now.
Well, as we've told you at the beginning of the evening, last year, Ross Purity, an American veteran, took on Klitschko's little brother Wladimir, a heavyweight with a record of 32-1. He exhausted Wladimir and rocked him in a late round, and Vladimir's trainer jumped into the ring and grabbed his fighter, stopping the fight. So that's the only professional loss for either Klitschko. Byrd trying to repeat that same pattern here. Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim. 59-55, 5 rounds to 1. Vitali Klitschko. In round 6, he definitely won the round. He kept catching Chris Byrd as Chris moved in. Round 5 was a good Chris Byrd round. But Jim, I got to tell you something. The judges. They're calling time for the tape. Gino Rodriguez is going to make him tighten up that tape.
I told you this was going to happen.
But Jim, the judges definitely see Vitali Klitschko sucking air. His mouth is wide open. He's definitely starting to tie. He tied round 6, so this fight could turn.
And this is not incidentally for the protective cuff, as I had suggested, but rather for the tape around the glove. A delay at this point, probably good for Klitschko for the reason that Harold just described.
You know, when we spoke to Klitschko about his PhD in sports science, we asked him about this notion that a big man has problem with stamina. And he refused to go for it, said it depends on how you train, whether you pace yourself in the fight, and so on. Well, he's in the laboratory right now to prove it one way or the other.
27 previous fights. Vitali Klitschko has been to the 6th round once and went to the 9th round against Obed Sullivan. Chris Byrd has had 14 fights in his career of greater than 6 rounds. So we're moving into an area of the fight with which Byrd is considerably more familiar. And now Klitschko makes Byrd miss with the left hand. Klitschko connecting to this point in the fight at a rate of about 25%. Against all previous opponents, he connected at around a 47% rate. So Byrd's elusiveness, a big factor in the fight so far. And if you're wondering about the difference between Byrd against the big puncher last year, Ibeabuchi, and against Klitschko this year, one obvious change. Ibeabuchi's just quicker than Klitschko has been able to be here.
We have this strange sight of David coming forward and Goliath going backward.
You also have to wonder at what point does Klitschko perhaps become frustrated.
Pick up his truncheon, pick up his truncheon, right?
Not too high, not too high. Open my cup up a little bit.
Take a deep breath, let out slow. You still letting him catch you with 2 minutes.
One more drink.
2 minutes.
Quick.
Necessary punches.
Okay, move Vitali and slip his punches. That was quite a good round. Take a breathe. Drink a bit. Open your mouth. What's that? Okay. You're controlling. Keep a distance with your left.
Okay?
Seconds out, let's go.
Everything okay? Okay. Go for it.
Dr. Vitali Klitschko, PhD in sports sciences from Kiev University. First lieutenant in the Ukrainian Air Force, 4th generation military man. Taking on Chris Byrd, who was raised to fight by his father, Joe Byrd, who used to set his sons up in an 8-foot square indoor gym in their home in Flint, Michigan. One of Byrd's advisors, John Hornauer, came in here tonight, took a look at the small ring and said, well, I guess they didn't know that Chris grew up in an 8-foot ring. And it was there in the 8-foot ring in his house that Byrd learned to be invisible while standing still. The Burnell Whitaker of heavyweights, in effect, a man who can stand right in front of you and never be found by a significant punch. That's what he's trying to be against one of the biggest punchers in the sport here tonight.
But he's throwing his punches tentatively. He's not trying to put any serious hurt on Klitschko. He's just hoping, as we said earlier, Jim, that Klitschko will knock himself out.
Klitschko lands with a left hook. Byrd comes back with 2 lefts of his own. Klitschko, you can almost see him trying to aim his punches now. shot from Klitschko. More of those, I think, would help him a lot. Manages to find Byrd's head with a sort of half-speed right hand. Now a harder right hand. Byrd comes back with the left. Again, Klitschko to the body, and this time a big right hand, and Byrd comes back with a double left of his own. Klitschko finding the target just a little bit more often now.
But you know, he's doing something pretty smart, Klitschko. He's not trying to punch through the target because it's too hard to do that with Byrd. He's punching at the target and piling up points. If the knockout comes, it comes.
Do you think there are some sophisticates in the sport, Larry, who would give him just as much credit for an intelligent, well thought out decision victory over Byrd as for another big knockout?
I doubt it.
I do too. Let's join us April's End for the premiere of Real Sports with Brian Gumbel. One of the stories featured female high school wrestler Kristen LaBelle. She not only qualified for the state finals, but did so by wrestling against boys in the 102-pound division. Real Sports, where nothing is out of bounds. One of the things we've noticed about the German crowd is they are considerably quieter through much of the evening than is the case with American sports crowds of the same size.
Right hand followed by a counter left hand by Byrd. But Byrd just has nothing behind those punches. He's going to have to hope that Klitschko is exhausted and will go down from one of those feather dusters.
Meanwhile, Klitschko threw 81 punches in the 8th round to only 39 for Byrd. And unless Byrd were a big power puncher, which he's not, it would be difficult for him to win rounds throwing half as many punches as his opponent. But of course, 2 of the 3 judges from the United States. So while you might say, oh, Byrd's up against it, going to Berlin to fight Klitschko on what amounts at this point to his home turf, remember that it is Byrd who has the advantage of having 2 of 3 judges and the referee from his own nationality. Straight right hand lands for Klitschko. And a harder right hand for Klitschko. Byrd kind of shaking his head as if to say, you can't hurt me. But Byrd not firing back as Klitschko targets and targets. And now there's the left hand by Byrd with shocking effect.
I think it shocked the crowd. I'm not sure it shocked Klitschko.
I think that's what I meant, too. I think Klitschko knows what's coming at this point. Translator Cornelius Winter telling us now that Klitschko's trainer has said Klitschko's left hand is hurt and he can't use it to the full extent. But he's still using it and throwing it, and it's the right hand that does the big damage most of the time anyway. Crowd gets excited as Byrd mounts a rally, firing 3 punches in combination.
That was Byrd's best series of punches about 10 seconds ago. He was flat-footed. Good series to the head and the body.
Byrd trying to gull Klitschko into believing that he had hurt him with the right hand, and now Byrd exciting the crowd by landing back in counter, and Klitschko fires a left hook and then comes back with 3 rights, and Byrd stands against the ropes, which he told us he wouldn't do. And there's another right hand landing for Klitschko, and Byrd fires back with a left of his own. Crowd loves what Byrd is doing. Klitschko minding his business in there. Byrd misses with the left, and Klitschko with a glancing right hand. They've gone 10. So having gotten through the 9th round, that assures us of the longest tour of duty of Vitali Klitschko's professional career.
Okay, take it easy, take it easy. Is it hurting?
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's vorbei.
Okay, it's over. We are giving up.
It's okay.
It hurts too much. No, it's okay. Don't worry.
Wait a minute.
They're stopping it. They are. That's exactly what Cornelius Winter just told us.
I can't believe what I've just seen.
Vitali Klitschko elects not to go on with his left hand apparently too damaged to continue. And Chris Byrd gets a victory. Chris Byrd taking a fight on 10 days' notice. Retrieves a portion of what he lost last year against Ike Ibeabuchi. Vitali Klitschko stunningly and mysteriously dropping out of a fight in which he appeared headed toward an easy victory.
He doesn't have the mentality of a champion. I can hardly believe what I just saw. You have a bad hand, so what?
I couldn't believe my ears when I heard interpreter Cornelius Winter repeating what he heard out of Klitschko's corner, but indeed, it was a perfect interpretation. He was exactly right. Klitschko and his team deciding not to go forward. Incredible.
I've never seen anything like that, Jim. I'm speechless, really. All he had to do
was survive 2 more rounds.
I mean, he's way, way ahead. All he had to do was stand in there for a few rounds, play defense, and win the fight.
We will see the judges' scorecards very shortly and give you an idea of how Klitschko stood in the fight. Right now, let's go to ring announcer Götz Otto for the official particulars on the stunning victory for Chris Byrd.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official decision. The new heavyweight champion of the WBA is Chris Byrd.
There's a buzz at ringside indicating that Vitali Klitschko may have entered this fight with an injured shoulder. There's Tracy Byrd. It's almost indescribable what's taking place here. You got to look at the tears in the eyes of Chris Byrd's wife, Tracy, overcome with joy and excitement at the gift which has just been given to her husband. And of course, you heard the ring announcer describing Byrd as a title holder. Remember, this is the WBO title. Now Klitschko speaking to the crowd.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am terribly sorry. I am giving up, but I'm going to get back my belt. My shoulder is hurting too much.
Let's take a CompuBox profile look at a very strange fight. Overall numbers, Klitschko landing only 8 more punches than Byrd while throwing 218 more. The difference in connect percentage follows from there. Total power punches, Byrd landing more than half his power shots, 82 out of 163, and perhaps that contributed to Klitschko's frustration as the fight continued. Now Larry with the winner, Chris Byrd.
All right, Chris, congratulations. What do you think happened at the end of the fight?
I guess his shoulder went out, but I was coming on. You know, I really wanted it. I felt he was outboxing me a bit, but I just kept coming, and I pursued it.
You think that your activity toward the later rounds is what discouraged him in some way?
Yeah. I mean, I fought against Russia 11 times in the amateurs. And the last 3 times I won, and I stopped 2 of them, and I kept coming, and they quit. So I'm not saying he don't have a big heart, but hey, I think he was up on the scorecards, man. It was close. I keep fighting. I mean, I fought Ike with separated ribs, and nobody knew about it. And you criticized me, so you know you call me less than a man.
All right, do you feel that from your experience that the Russians and the Eastern Europeans in general have a different mentality about fighting hurt?
Oh, no. I'm just saying the ones I fought. I mean, Konstanzu, I love him. I fought with him in the amateur. He got a big heart. He keep taking it and keep winning and lost one. But, you know, he's a Russian, and the European guys can take it. I mean, he just quit on Sue for some reason. If it was me, if it's the other way around, I'm fighting Ninja. I don't care.
What does this mean to you?
Oh, it means a lot. I mean, I can get more fights now. And I'm telling all the heavyweights, they don't want to fight me. I mean, this guy is a 6'8" boxing guy. Guys like Lewis and Michael Grant, they coming straight ahead. I make them miss all day. I frustrated big man. That's why he started getting on his toes. And then I'm 210 pounds, and I start walking him down. What kind of stuff is that? He's 235 pounds, 6'8". That's crazy. Throw it to the body, throw it to the head. I want it. And I represent Christ. That's why. The power.
What do you think's happening back in Flint when they see this?
They going crazy, but Michigan State got to do it. You know, hope they won tonight, and then they win the title, and I won the title. So bring on all the heavyweights. Like I always said, I'll fight any heavyweight in the world anytime. Look I'm in Berlin. I lost 8 pounds since I've been here. I'm 210-pound heavyweight. Blowing up super middle. Man, nobody don't want to fight me. Bring them. This is for David Lesage, who passed away.
Thank you very much, and congratulations again, Chris Byrd. Jim?
What a personal reversal. 10 days ago, Chris Byrd was still in the darker reaches of the heavyweight division, preparing to fight Adolfo Washington for $25,000. Now let's go to Larry Merchant with Vitali Klitschko.
Vitali, what happened?
Я прошу прощения у всех моих болельщиков в Германии, на Украине. Но так получилось, что я не мог провести этот поединок. После 3-го раунда у меня очень сильно болела левая рука против левши. Я не могу боксировать с одной правой. И с каждым раундом боль усилилась. Я отказался от проведения поединка.
I want to say sorry to all my fans in Germany and the United States. After the 3rd round, I had a problem and I couldn't withstand southpaw.
What was the problem? Did you come into this fight with an injury?
Вы пошли в борьбе с повреждением?
Это старая травма, повреждения не было, а теперь я снова получил.
No, there was no injury. There was an old injury, but it didn't inflict on the fight.
Was your hand hurt?
Ваша рука была, может быть, повреждена?
Мое плечо.
Ваша рука, он спрашивает.
Мое плечо.
No, it was the shoulder.
And was this a previous injury, or did he get it during the fight?
Это было старое повреждение, или вы получили это в ходе боя?
Я получил в ходе поединка.
It was in the fight.
You seem to be way ahead in the fight. That all you had to do was survive till the end of the 12th round to win the fight. Why would you give up your title in those circumstances?
Было такое впечатление, что вы были вперед, в принципе. Вы должны были просто до 12-го раунда продолжать боя. Почему так получилось, что это не было возможно?
Я не мог с каждым раундом, я не мог продолжать поединок.
I couldn't in every round win enough points.
So you thought you were behind in the fight?
Вы думаете, что вы были назад, да, по очкам?
Нет. Я вел этот поединок. Я выйду здоровым в ринг, и я верну мой титул.
I will come back into the ring sound, and I will win back my title.
Shouldn't a prize fighter be able to fight when he's hurt?
Боксер не должен тоже боксовать, если он получил повреждение.
Я хочу провести бой нормально, а не получить травму и закончить со спортом. Лучше восстановиться, проиграть один бой, вернуться и выиграть. Или заключить со спортом навсегда.
I don't want to fight and get an injury and not be able to fight anymore. I want to be able to go back into the ring and fight.
Thank you very much, Vitali.
Sorry.
Back to you, Jim.